Become AutoCAD expert step by step. Hello friends, I am your guide Amit Garg and you're watching my channel CAD by Amit. Friends, if you have not subscribed my channel as yet, please do it now so that you get all of my videos on a regular basis. Also friends, please do watch this video till end so that you do not miss any information. So let's get started. Hello friends. So we are on a new lecture now, and in this lecture we are going to cover ellipse command. Yes friends, this is the fifth command in the draw tab. We have already covered four commands earlier. The commands were line, circle, donut and spline. So let's get started with the ellipse command. Just to make ellipse geometry clear to you friends, I have made this drawing. Let us go through this. This is the basic definition of the ellipse command. Shortcut for the ellipse command is EL, and the definition is ellipse is a regular oval shape having two axes perpendicular to each other. Yes friends, it has two axes, and in case you have a look on this diagram, we have two axes AB and CD. AB is the major axis because the length of the major axis has to be more than the length of the minor axis, and CD here is the minor axis. Both the axes are at right angle, and on a point these two axes intersect is known as the center of the ellipse. Friends, ellipse geometry has five important points. Four are the quadrants and one is the center point. So this is about the ellipse geometry friends. Now for making ellipse friends, we have two main methods. The first method is the center method. In the center method, the first point that we are supposed to give is the center of the ellipse. Then thereafter, we give the first end point of the first axis. And this you can take in any direction. You can take it on a right hand side, on a left hand side, upwards, downwards, or maybe at some other angle. And afterwards, we have to give the radius of the second axis. Yes friends, so this is the first method. So let us start this first method. I am clicking on model space, going to the model space. To take the ellipse command, we'll go to the draw tab. We'll click on the ellipse option and we have the first option here. Otherwise, you can take it from the ribbon toolbar friends. You can click on this and you can click on the first option here. See, it's asking for the center point. So I click here on the screen. Now I want the end point of the first axis to be 50 millimeters away from the center point on the right hand side in a horizontal orientation. So I'll say @50, 0. Now this is relative Cartesian coordinates friends. In case you know relative Cartesian coordinates, it's good because we have already covered this in the previous lecture. If not, then you can go to my previous lecture. I have already given its link in the description. So as I press enter, the first axis is done and the first axis length will be double of 50 millimeters. That means 100 millimeters. Now friends, this is asking for the length of the other axis. Now this value I have to give should be either less than 50 or more than 50, because in case I keep it as 50 millimeters, I am going to make one circle. And I am not going to make one circle. My purpose is to make an ellipse. So I should give a value which is less than 50 or more than 50. Let us take 25 millimeters friends. As I press enter, my ellipse is done. Now on this ellipse, the major axis length will be 100 and the minor axis length will be double of 25, that is 50. Friends, this will not create axis in this geometry. So for making an axis, we have to take the line command and we have to switch on quadrant option on object snap so that we can pick all the four quadrant points precisely. I say OK. Now I catch the first quadrant point, left quadrant point, and I connect it to the right quadrant point. Come out of the command, again go to the command and connect this bottom quadrant to the top quadrant, and here we have both the axes placed on the ellipse. Friends, let us go for the second method for the ellipse. I click on the ellipse command, and the second method is axis, end method. In this method, first of all, we are supposed to give the first endpoint of the first axis and thereafter the second point on the first axis. So I click here to take the first point. Now to make the ellipse with the same size, friends, I have to take the distance as 100 because now I am giving the distance between both the endpoints. So I can type down @100, 0, enter. And for the second axis distance, the distance is same because we are going to give radius in both the options, friends. So in the previous one, I took 25 as the value, 25 millimeters. In this one also, I'm going to take the 25 millimeter as the value because I'm going to create the ellipse with the same size. As I press enter, you can see both the ellipse are having the same size. So friends, these are the two methods for creating the ellipse. Let us go through these exercises, friends, quickly. Like I have kept 3 exercises on the ellipse command. The first exercise is where you are supposed to make one ellipse having the major axis length as 100 millimeters and the minor axis length as 50 millimeters. So it's going to be very simple exercise, friends. Exercise number 2. In this exercise, friends, you are going to make another ellipse having the major axis length as 100 millimeters and the minor axis length as 50 millimeters. But the major axis should be at an angle of 30 degrees. I hope friends, like you understand the polar coordinate system. You can take the help of the relative polar coordinate system that we have already covered in the previous lecture. If you have not gone through that lecture, I have already given the link in the description. Please go through that. The third and the last exercise is here you are supposed to create 3 ellipses. The first ellipse major axis is 100 millimeters and the minor axis is 50 millimeters. Thereafter, the second ellipse major axis should be equal to the minor axis of the bigger ellipse. And the minor axis of this ellipse should be half of the minor axis length of the previous ellipse. And then again create another ellipse, friends. This will be the third ellipse, keeping the same relation within this ellipse and the previous ellipse. So that way you can finish this exercise as well. Now before we finish this video lecture, friends, I have another important information on the conic sections. How do we define conic sections? Let us take one cone. This figure that you can see in the red color is a cone. This is a 3D geometry actually. On this cone, in case we cut this cone with a plane which is at normal to the axis, then this section that we get, friends, will be a circle section. In case we take this section at some angle, then this section shape will be an ellipse shape. If we further increase this angle, then this section shape will be the parabolic shape. And if we further increase this, then this shape will be a hyperbola shape or the hyperbola shape. Now to define the eccentricity, friends, we have one parameter here which is known as eccentricity, defined by letter E. Amount a conic section deviates from being perfectly circular. This is how we define eccentricity. Now for a circle object or a circle geometry, the value of eccentricity is equal to 0. Now for an ellipse, the value is between 0 and 1. For a parabola, the value is equal to 1, and for a hyperbola, the value is greater than 1. So this is where we finish this lecture, friends. And so hope you enjoyed this lecture on ellipse, friends. If you like this lecture, then please do like it and share it with your friends. Please do subscribe my this channel and do not forget to press the bell icon. So we'll meet in the next lecture, friends. Till then, goodbye. Thank you so much.